exploring again piezo electricity, the idea that compressing this crystalline material, the mechanical pressure results in an electrical output, and that in some cases electrical pressure could also produce a mechanical output. So we're talking about that compression as a mechanical output, though in cases of elongation there might be isolated pockets of compression to consider too. Mechanotransduction is that process by which the movement tensions in our body, the physical tensions we experience of that guy putting his knee on my belly, are converted into electrical signals inside of the body so that you can feel feedback from the pressures that are put on you, but also these things always feeding back information to our body. Ratios of compression are interesting. Not everyone is going to use each line the same way. If I extend my arm to my body, the way that my lat, rib cage, and everything folds in on itself is going to be different from individuals to the next. And the ratio with which it folds in on each other was one of the critical things that we're teaching, is the sequencing of the movement. It's super important to get those things to fold in ratio because it creates more of a pumping effect. So experimenting with particular lines, for example, those axial pillars that we had spoken about, kind of like a vertical line shooting off of the femur. So you'd have one on your right and one on your left, and then the idea of, compressing into one of those sides and considering the ratio of compression. Hyperflaccidity, like if I wanted to compress into my right side, let's say, and I just kind of fall into my right side, it's like watching a pitcher slowly sink their weight down to throw a ball versus somebody's mom drop into a squat in a yoga class. It's like she's not able to transfer that movement as well as the baseball pitcher. When he leans down, there's a slow kind of viscosity to the movement that allows for more force transfer. Literally, as he's coming down into the ground, the muscles are absorbing more of the force and cascading, closing in a slower ratio. So I hope that makes sense because bringing tension into the core of the body, gathering those tensions more into the belly, adductors, glutes, kind of larger, pectoralis major, big muscles of the body, more tension into the diaphragm and the thoracic spine extensors, creating a center of gravity. It's something that, everyone understands that we have a center of gravity. I wonder how many of us have considered that our center of gravity is always changing over time. This is what we're talking about with connective tissue remodeling, that all the tensions over our lifetime are going to change that web of fascia, which the center of the web of fascia, where all of the tension is stored, is your center of gravity. And for some of us, it might be a little bit way off to the right hip oblique, maybe. For some of us, it might be a little bit off to the left. When you start to look around and observe, it's actually quite interesting to see how different people organize the tension in their body.